jusqu'à 6 minutes d'avance avant d'être reprise finalement par le peloton.
Get yourself underneath the sign. Oh no, I think he's.
Okay, it appears that we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to stage number 2 of Paris-Niza 2022. Yes, so the course au soleil continues. We are still in the north of France. And today's stream has something special for you guys. We are not in our usual locations. Instead, I'm in my usual location. Scott Nielsen of the Cycling Dane is currently roaming the streets of Orléans to bring you the live action from the finishing line of this race. And for the time being, it looks like a very, very interesting stage so far. Scott, what can you tell us from the ground in Orléans as we have 40.1 kilometers to go on what has been a stage characterized by what the French call bordure, the echelon?
Yeah, hello Jürgen, hello everyone. Yeah, we're at the final stage, final part of stage 2. The Tour de l'Avenir, which many of these riders rode a few at Team Time Trial, I believe. But yeah, it's a very interesting course that they've got for the riders to come in. The uphill, well, it's not really. The leading in is actually flat-ish. We've got kind of a decline before we actually get to a small ramp of, I would say, about 1-2%. So it isn't a flat sprint anyways, but you can see the finish line here in the background, just up here. So yeah, we'll endeavor to get you that when they get closer.
Exactly that. Well, they currently have 39.6 kilometers to go. I will update you on what's happening right now on the stage. Well, it looks like the race has completely broken up. Guillaume Martin, one of the big losers from today, he is in the third group, roughly 5 minutes or so, roughly 1 minute and 50 behind. So is Maximilian Schachmann. Up front, well, some sprinters involved. It looks like Fabio Jakobsen is in a very good position. Sam Bennett has been yo-yoing between the groups. Sam Bennett is in that front group. In terms of GC guys, well, we have Ben O'Connor up in the front group. We also have Adam Yates and Danny Martinez. Nairo Quintana is also in that front group, as is Primož Roglic. I'm not quite sure when Nilsen Paulus is for EF Education first, but Simon Yates looks to be safe in that front group. These crosswinds have ripped up this stage of Paris-Niza, and it's going to be probably the most influential flat stage of this race.
We're going to see potentially our Port go for the sprint here. Fabio Jakobsen's been told the elephant in the room is also Wout van Aert, who seems to be able to do anything. So potentially he could
go head-to-head yet in the season. But Jakobsen has a couple of teammates around him. The thing with Wout van Aert is he'll probably have to go on his own instead of looking for his own chances. Yes, he has Nathan van Hooijdonk and Laporte, but surely they'll be trying to protect Primož if it comes to it. But in terms of Jakobsen's support, well, he has Yves Lampaert, Florian Sénéchal, his long-term teammate, and Zdeněk Štýbar all up at the front. Štýbar's going well, actually, I'd say. Štýbar looking very, very good at this part of the year. The only person to follow the move yesterday. We look back, Trek Segafredo have lost some riders in that group, but Mads Pedersen is up towards the front. This is quite a Mads Pedersen kind of day. Very difficult, very classic almost, and very Northern European, isn't it?
It looked like they had the intermediate sprint that Laporte took the maximum points, so the bonus seconds as well, if I am understanding the French coverage here from the big screen.
I'm not sure if there's bonus seconds, but there's definitely the sprint points. Laporte taking it ahead of Wout van Aert, I believe, in third position there, just galloping over one of the riders from Deceuninck Quickstep. Maybe Zdeněk Štýbar, can't quite work out who it was, but a rider from H2Z Citroën also trying to steal some points there. That was the sprint through the town of Trenus as we head closer and closer to the finale of this race. We have probably around about 6 kilometers until we turn, we change direction. That'll be good for the wind, because the wind in this direction has been posing a problem as we head south towards Orléans, but soon we will turn right, meaning that they will be heading easterly towards Saint-Cyr-en-Val through the Loire Valley before the run into Orléans. So a direction in wind direction change coming up very, very soon.
Yeah, of course, guys. If you have no red button, and yeah, it's gonna be interesting. And Ewan, do you think potentially we are?
Yeah, exactly. We could see some GC changing. We're seeing that Guillaume Martin has lost out. We're seeing that Valentin Madoise, David Gaudu as well, I think, have all lost out. So some big GC names not in the best position as well for the stage victory. Girmay is not up towards the front. He's currently wearing the white jersey. Also missing out is Anthony Turgis, a guy I thought would be right up there towards the mix of this stage. And I believe we have also lost Matteo Trentin from this move as well.
Do you think or not?
No. I think the change in wind direction will mean that we will not get quite as many splits. I think we've seen the most dramatic splits already occur on the stage. However, there we go. Ryan Mullen just throwing his hand in the air, telling people to move about, to watch out for road furniture. As we see Nathan van Hooijdonk at the front of the peloton, you can see Florian Sénéchal as well. Just coming through the center for for Quickstep Alpha Vinyl, Wout van Aert as well, poking his head through as the riders negotiate a couple of small villages through this Département of France. Not exactly the most exciting part of the world, but we are about to enter one of France's oldest cities, the city of Joan of Arc, Orléans.
Yeah, well, I think you're playing it a bit down. They have a beautiful cathedral here, and Pierre Roland, of course, is just up the road as well, or down the road.
Sure. I believe he's from somewhere near Paris. This would be somewhere near Paris. However, it's the Bumblebees at the front of the peloton. It is still Nathan van Hooijdonk who's trying to control this. They, of course, have the yellow jersey in the realm of Christophe Laporte, the doorman. He got the 3 points at the sprint in Trenus, ahead of Wout van Aert and Zdeněk Štýbar. So there we go. 2 cyclocross world champions in that list, with Wout van Aert and Štýbar. 2 guys hoping for classic success this year. Neither of which have won cobble monuments, surprisingly, in their careers. We can just see Guillaume Martin and Girmay now, 1 minute and 37 behind. They've also got Fedorov, who was in the break the other day, number 164 for Education First. That would be number 164. That is Jens Kukelere behind. I was looking to see if it was Nielsen Powers, but it is not. Also Maximilian Schachmann behind, the double champion for Germany and for Bora Hansgrohe.
I mean, it doesn't look like Schachmann's going to be taking it close to what happened yesterday, but we've seen bigger comebacks than that.
Exactly, you never know in Paris-Niza. Paris-Niza can change on the last day, as it has many a time. Thinking last year, for instance, also in the past, we've seen the race completely change when we go around the Nice stage, which could happen this year. We never know, but it looks like Roglic is firmly in the driving seat for victory. 33 kilometers to go, 1 minute and 30 of a lead for Roglic, Laporte, van Aert, the top 3 of this race, over Maximilian Schachmann, the German champion and double vainqueur, the champion of this race of Paris-Niza.
I mean, we love crosswinds, and this is absolutely incredible. It's great to see them actually taking the race by the scruff of the neck. Time looked so inconsequential, and then it had dramatic effects for potentially the GC. They definitely didn't win it yesterday, but definitely a big step in the right direction. And do you think maybe the trio yesterday, they practiced that maybe on team camps in Mallorca, just doing a high pace up front, and Wout van Aert and Roglic making sure that they just could capitalize on that.
Exactly that, and they were probably well drilled on that kind of thing. It was like a mini team time trial practice, and don't forget Nathan van Hooijdonk as well, currently at the front of this race, made one of the key moves for it yesterday. He was the one who initially put the pace up, and then the other three drove away. Just seeing here in the group, Simon Yates, he has some buddies here for Bike Exchange, Jayco. Also seeing Stefan Bissegger towards the front. He's trying to get the yellow jersey when we go to Montluçon in a couple of days' time. Also, it's such a small group, we could always see a lone attacker try to go in the finale. I'm looking at maybe Sylvain Dillier of Alpecin Phoenix. He's on his own in this group without Jasper Philipsen. Also, looking towards maybe Kevin Genietz of Groupama Française des Jeux to reach out for glory. So there are some wild cards in this group who will try to escape and take the stage win. 3 guys from the Men in Glass, B&B Hotels as well. They have good representation up here too. Those 3 riders, well, we're just getting notes on one, Alexis Youjard, up towards the front. He's having a good race so far, as is Pierre Latour, who is safe up here at the front.
Yeah, and we said yesterday, if you're saying Sylvain Dillier is going to take the win, he might take the win after yesterday where you predicted Christophe Laporte taking the win early on. Like you said, it was a bit tongue-in-cheek and you weren't really thinking that it would happen, but you still did it. You mentioned it. And who's your odds-on for winning today? Is it Wout van Aert or potentially Fabio Jakobsen?
I think Jakobsen's the strongest sprinter in the world right now. I think if it comes down to a sprint, Jakobsen to win it. If it comes from the peloton, maybe Stefan Bissegger or Sylvain Dillier, one of those Swiss riders. I could see them going off on their own, doing a double act to try to wear out Jumbo-Visma because they've only got 4 riders here, of which one is Primož Roglic. De Koning, though, I think will try to bring this one back. But we'll find out. 30 kilometers to go, and it's still Nathan van Hooijdonk at the front. We see a rider from Age2Z Citroën in second wheel. They have Ben O'Connor nestled in this group safely. What can he do in the GC? He's been keeping safe the past couple of days. Also seeing here through the center some riders from Bahrain Victorious, number 69 there, 69 Flatrique. That would be number 69 for them. Not number 69, number 66. It could be Luis Leon Sanchez, in fact, for Bahrain. Number 62 as well in this group. That is Jack Haig. That's Bahrain Victorious's representation up here. Luke Rowe as well up here for Ineos Grenadiers to protect Danny Martinez and Adam Yates.
Yeah, it's a strong Bahrain Victoria. Well, we could say all the teams are strong, but Jumbo-Visma is just head and shoulders above everyone else right now. But what this does mean is we might get a more aggressive mountain stage. I think it's stage 7 when we're going to the Col de Torini, or as you said, some of the minor stages with, hillier stages. So do you think this will change the dynamic of the race? And will Jumbo-Visma have enough of firepower to manage the other potential attacks?
Yeah, I mean, they have Rowan Dennis and so forth to help them when we go into the proper mountains. So they could really support that challenge. And on the flat stages, it seems like this group of 4 are very, very strong. So, yeah, Jumbo-Visma do look to be the strongest. My prediction yesterday of Groupama becoming the new secondary team of this race isn't quite materializing. Ineos Grenadiers as well, they have Danny Martinez, who I think is going to be the strongest domestique in this bunch. So maybe he could do something special and try to bully Roglic, like Vingegaard did last year with... inverse it there when it was UAE against Jumbo-Visma at last year's Basque Country. Maybe this year Ineos could try to bully Jumbo-Visma and use Martinez as a Vingegaard card.
Yeah, and if you haven't already, button.
And subscribe to the channel. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at The Cycling Dane, all one word, all lowercase.
So, yeah, it's the calm before the storm right now. Well, the calm after the storm, and then now another storm coming. Potentially.
Exactly. It's crosswind chaos here on stage number 2 of Paris-Niza 2022. We're heading towards Orléans, medieval city, known for Joan of Arc, known for its, it's a university town, one of the oldest universities in Europe, in fact. And it's a historic centre. We haven't been here for Paris-Niza in a number of years, but we are returning to the city. Almost its big sister. It's a little bit more well known than the old city itself. I'm talking about New Orleans in the US, home of soul music and soul food. But today, Orléans in France, the original, will be the scene of what looks to be a sprinting showdown between Jakobsen and Wout van Aert.
Not a great time to find out sick. But yeah, well, now when we have this downtime, do you think Wout van Aert will take the GC, or is it definitely what they are going for?
I don't know how it's going to work when. Well, I think Wout van Aert's going to finish in second, so I don't know how that quite works. Of the general classification from that, because he'll finish maybe first or second. Well, I'm going to say second today, and then he finished second yesterday. So that maybe would that put him above Primož? We don't know. Sorry, I completely messed up that calculation in my head. But you know what? We'll find out. We'll find out if he takes yellow. I don't think they'd mind if Wout van Aert took yellow. I think he'd probably keep it until stage number 6 before Col de Tourigny.
Yeah, if you are joining us, thanks for joining us. We know it's a Monday. We know it's a flat stage. But it is very exciting right where I am here in Orléans. So that's the USP of this stage today. But of course, Crosswinds, as Ewan said, has played havoc already. And yeah, Ewan, we were talking about this in the race roundup. What do the other teams do now with Roglic and Wout van Aert in such a good position for the GC? You've got a time trial coming up as well. Both of them are extraordinary time trialists. One of them Olympic champion, the other one the vice world champion. So what do you do if you're Ineos Grenadiers, if you're a Bora with Alexander Vlasov?
I don't know. I don't really know what Vlasov does. They're going to have to try to outnumber them. They have a strong team, but they've also brought half a squad for the sprints, which maybe will be their big regret at the end of the week. They've lost the Schachmann card, even though he looks like he is coming back. They are gaining time, only 1 minute and 13 now for the Schachmann group to get back towards the front. The second group on the road is 44 seconds back. That group including a number of riders I can't quite work out. But yeah, I think Bora are going to find it very, very difficult.
Yeah, I still think Ineos Grenadiers have a very strong team. If they could do something with that, Adam Yates, phenomenal form, could do something on the Col de Tourigny, win the stage. Maybe that's all that they're content for this year. Get a podium spot, maybe.
They'll definitely want a podium spot. They aren't going to win Paris-Nice once again. They were the dominant team throughout the past decade. 4 of their riders, in fact, won this race. 5 of their riders. Richie Porte, Geraint Thomas, Sergio Henao, Egan Bernal, and Bradley Wiggins, all winning this race under the guise of Team Ineos and Team Sky. So, yeah, they'll certainly want to do well. It is their race, but I think Roglic is just going to be too strong, even for Yates to challenge. Yates will probably put up a good effort, but I just don't think he's going to be anywhere near him. You can see Wout van Aert there just chatting away, talking to one of the riders from Bahrain. He's just riding on with Nathan van Hooijdonk in front of him, Christophe Laporte in fourth wheel. He is in the yellow jersey for Jumbo-Visma, the Dutch team, formerly known as Rabobank. They have won this race just once in the past, back with Mr. Bogert, who I didn't know existed until yesterday. Thank you, Scott, for that education. Nevertheless, Trek Zegafredo on the right of our picture, Scott. Mads Pedersen or Jasper Stuyven? Who would you pick?
Of course, Mads Pedersen, former world champion, greatest classics rider on this side of the generation. Of course not, but yeah, I'm very biased. We'll have to see if he can. He's won Gent-Wevelgem, he won Kern-Brussels-Kern as well, if I'm not mistaken there. And then, of course, that world twin, which is getting ever further away. Growing up and racing in Denmark. He's still in Denmark. He lives in Næstved. So that's one of the very nice things with Mads Pedersen. He hasn't just disappeared down to Monaco or one of these other places. He's actually stayed back in Denmark, and I think that was one of the components that actually won in the world, because he was a bit harder than everyone else around him.
Exactly that. Mads Pedersen here for Trek Segafredo. We've missed out a couple of riders. There's no Girmay, I don't believe, the man who is wearing the white jersey today. So we'll find out where he is on the road. Also, Guillaume Martin trying to make his way back up to the front. Can he do so? I'll see Movistar come towards the front to try to do some work. Who are they working for? They have... Who do they have in this front group? I don't think they have anybody. Anybody of note, really. I don't know where Garcia is.
Yeah, he was up there yesterday. He got a top 10, so favoured him. And you didn't like the fact that he was going to Movistar, but nevertheless, we'll see if that, in the long term, actually produces something. But Jumbo-Visma still turning the pace out at the front, so still fairly in control. And it looks like Laporte is probably going to be wearing that yellow jersey for another day.
Yep. Christophe Laporte looks safe at the front of the race. It looks like, Jumbo-Visma, one of their riders will be wearing the yellow jersey. Will it be Wout or will it be Christophe Laporte? Who knows? Maybe Roglic attacks away and wins the stage. Who knows at Paris-Niza? Nevertheless, maybe Christophe Laporte crashes. Wow, so many questions. Nevertheless, we're just seeing Jack Haig there just sit up with Luis Leon Sanchez with him. Luis Leon Sanchez, in fact, moving to Bahrain victorious. I think it's the first time I've actually noticed that transfer this season. Scott, how do you feel about Luis Leon Sanchez at Bahrain victorious?
To be honest, I thought Luis Leon Sanchez would have retired by now, but yeah, why is he 38, 39? But he has a sort of good history in the Paris-Niza. I think he's won a few stages, but I think he's won Paris level in their career. You would have thought, but yeah, very, very, what would you say, good career or brilliant career from Luis Leon Sanchez, and coming to the end of it, you would have thought, but joining Bahrain victorious, absolutely scoop for them in terms of his wealth and knowledge. Of course, he was one rider that was, when we're talking about Rabobank, was actually gotten rid of by Rabobank for mysterious reasons that we won't dwell too much on. But yeah, what do you think of Luis Leon Sanchez joining?
Well, it's interesting as well. He is a brilliant teammate. He's helped a lot of great leaders to success. And I think he's going to try and do that here with Bahrain victorious. It does have a strong Spanish group with them. You got Pello Bilbao there, who's on brilliant form. You also got Jack Haig, who they're trying to nurse into this big GC leader. Gino Merda as well. A lot of big riders, and I think Luis Leon Sanchez could be a big factor in supporting them to Grand Tour success. Gino Merda is here. I don't think he's in this front group, though, which is a shame. The Swiss rider, who almost won a stage last year before being denied by Primož Roglic. Nevertheless, looking through the group now, we're just surveying some riders. Cees Bol as well. Cees Bol up here with Søren Kragh Andersen as well. This could be a Søren Kragh Andersen kind of day if he goes off the front like we're suggesting Sylvain Dillier or Stefan Bissegger to do. A number of riders from the men in glass. Number 216 is there. Number 216 is, in fact, Luca Mozzato. I was expecting it to be a little bit more of a familiar name, but I have no idea who Luca Mozzato is. Scott, do you?
I'm sorry, no, I don't.
Well, now we've opened Pandora's box. He's 24 years old. He's another Aquarius. 15th of February, 1998 he is born. And his best result is 7th at the Deutschland Tour last year. The Moine.
So maybe start in the making in a few years. Who knows? But anyways, it looks like two riders rode here. If I'm 3 riders even. Is it 2 Movistar riders or is that the back end of the bunch?
This is the Pluton. This is a group behind. So this is the chasing group, which I believe has Guillaume Martin and Maxi Schachmann maybe in it. We just need the overhead shot. Also talking about potential stage winners, Brian Coquard as well, I think, is in that front group, if I'm not mistaken. But, yep, two guys from Movistar going off here. Scott, can you identify these guys? They don't look particularly familiar to me.
Yeah, with the limited screen I can see here of the front, the big screen, I don't think I can see them, but I can definitely see Luis Leon Sanchez at the front end of the group. And why is he pushing on? Have they got Sonny Colbrelli in that group?
Well, Colbrelli was dropped yesterday, so I'm not sure if he's going to have the legs to win today. Don't think Colbrelli's ever won a stage of Paris-Niza. That could all change today. He's the reigning European champion, but I do not believe he's in the front group. I haven't seen the European bands here at all. I think that they're just trying to protect Jack Haig in the GC. So Bahrain getting their jerseys on camera. We can see in second wheel Nathan van Hooijdonk, third wheel Oliver Naassen. For AG2R Citroën, they're here to protect Ben O'Connor, the Australian, fourth place at last year's Tour de France. We can see the men in glass on the right-hand side of the screen, just filing out there. Don't really have a sprinter within their ranks. It's on the road. Maybe that is to come very soon.
Yeah, of course, different components for different riders. Was obviously talked about with Peter Sagan when he changed teams. I think it was Saxo Bank where he was wearing a different kit and no different components than his teammates, because some of these riders have personal contracts with manufacturers. Of course, one of the other riders was Alberto Contador when he moved to where was it? He was riding.
8K to go here, and we just saw a flag at the side of the road, looking like it's going in a cross direction. The peloton now fanning out. You can see riders all across the road. At the front, bit of a pencil. We have Oliver Naassen towards the front, Nathan van Hooijdonk, Christophe Laporte as well, in roughly sixth wheel, I believe, with Primož Roglič in front of him.
If you're wondering where I'm standing with 50 meters to go from the finish line. French guys, and can see ITV and some other people as well hovering around the finishing line. But yeah, Orléans, center of cycling today, so make the most of it, Orléans.
Exactly. Make the most of it. Nevertheless, it is 17K to go. The peloton now gearing up for what could be a sprint finish. 1 minute and 10 seconds to Girmay. Does not look like he is going to challenge for this one. The young Eritrean from Intermarché. Intermarché, who've had a good start to the season so far. But Quick Step Alpha Vinyl, they're going for Fabio Jakobsen. Looking like that they could potentially get their first stage win at the UCI World Tour level with Jakobsen this year. His first World Tour win since La Vuelta a España last year. Also, Sam Bennett in the mix for Ireland. He has Ryan Mullen to support him. Brian Coquard as well towards the front for the final sprint. Also, Juan Sebastian Molana for UAE Team Emirates. Luca Mezget for Bike Exchange. Case Boll for Team DSM. And that appears to be it for the real sprint contenders on this stage. I'm not quite sure what Mathis Louvel could bring out for Arkea Samsic, but you never know with Arkea this year. They've been quite wild.
Yeah, we'll have to see with Nairo Quintana, because he, of course, has very nearly won it. He nearly won it in 2019, 2020. Many people said he should have won it there as well. This year, admittedly, not World Tour races.
Exactly, none of which are World Tour. That could be the big jump up. A bit like Evenepoel, winning a lot of non-World Tour races. Once he gets onto the World Tour, almost glitches against the big dogs. But, yeah, riders just avoiding street furniture there. That was in 2020.
Still counts.
That was in 2020. Nevertheless, Stefan Bissegger there just pointing out road furniture to other riders, including Philippe Gilbert, who is here for Lotto Soudal up at the front of the group in, I believe, his last season. If I stand corrected, he is trying to get the Classicissima, which would be the Milan-San Remo victory, the only monument that he does not have in his palmares.
I mean, he was up near the front. Well, up the front. He was in the breakaway with one of his teammates a bit early on in the stage. So potentially, he's just using this as a tune-up for the up-and-coming Spring Classics.
Yep. Do you think he's going to do anything in the Spring Classics, or is he just going to be this passenger once again?
I mean, being a Philippe Gilbert fan, I definitely would love to see him win Milan-San Remo. But do I think it's going to happen? Definitely not. I mean, he's won Paris-Roubaix before, and we've seen some of the older riders. They know how to ride the race. They know how to fairly minimize their bad luck. So potentially we could see him up in Paris-Roubaix. But in terms of the races that he used to win, I'm still Gold, Flèche Wallonne, Liège, Bastogne-Liège. I don't think we're going to see the Philippe Gilbert of old, but yeah, it'll hopefully be a good song season for him in a way.
Well, as we have been talking, it looks like Stefan Küng, Stefan Bissegger, and Philippe Gilbert have gone off the front. That's two of the names I mentioned. Gilbert as well, tagging onto that Swiss duo, and Christophe Laporte trying to close the gap as well. Wow, he closed it with ease. He made that look very, very easy. But Stefan Bissegger, I'd say going just a little bit too far out from the line. I'd wait until maybe the last 3 or so kilometers to try something special here. But Stefan Küng, Stefan Bissegger, Philippe Gilbert, and Christophe Laporte currently out in front.
I mean, if you haven't got a sprinter, you might as well try your luck here. Especially like someone like Bissegger and Küng. Test themselves before the time trial.
He also won the extra time in the classification before the time trial.
It looks like they have been brought back, those three. They are trying to get away still, but I'm not sure if my feed is behind your feed.
I'm guessing because you are there, you probably have the television feed. I'm getting it from an internet feed, which will mean it's usually quite a bit slower. Nevertheless,
it definitely isn't pan flat. It's got a, well, I would say 1 percentage line. The road, well, they definitely haven't paved the road. There's a few bumps and lumps and chunks taken out of the road as well. So who knows, that could potentially catch some of these riders off guard when they're going like 74, 75 kilometers an hour.
Exactly that. We don't want anybody to come down. We don't want any issues here in the finale of this stage, where we believe it will be a sprinters showdown in Orléans. So other sprinters involved in this group, Cees Bol is here, Christophe Laporte himself, Mads Pedersen, Luca Mesget as well. These are some of the sprinters to look out for, maybe even Brian Coquard and Sam Bennett. We haven't mentioned Sam Bennett. Today marks 500 days since...
But anyways, it's very, very, very close to the finish now, and this is going to be very exciting. The biggest thing in terms of cycling since they have the Tour de l'Avenir down here. And yeah, who knows if we'll see French glory yet again. I think yesterday was absolutely PR gold for Jumbo-Visma, having a French rider get the first yellow jersey in Paris-Niza. But anyways, Matt Holmes, the rider who got the polka dot jersey, looks like he's at this moment. He won't care too much about that.
Exactly. He's going to celebrate tomorrow in the polka dot jersey once again. And I think, yeah, it's well deserved. He's this kind of guy who just goes and breakaways and snatches some glory. And it has worked out once again for Matt Holmes, who is from the north of England, I believe. Nevertheless, Scott, what is happening at the finishing line in Orléans right now as we head under the 10K to go banner?
Huge crowds, I'll say that. Men with sanitizers coming around spraying everyone's hands, which is nice to see. But yeah, the town, the city, whatever you want to call it, has literally turned out for this race, which is good to see. Not really, as we were well, it's a phenomenal area for cycling. You've got the Loire Valley cycling route, which is one of the biggest cycling routes in France. and it's absolutely pan flat. It's a nightmare for me. No hills anywhere. So the complete opposite of Bath or anywhere mountainous. So it's definitely Mads Pedersen would love this kind of place. It would remind him of Denmark.
And that's why we could see Mads Pedersen do very well today. He likes a tough stage. He likes when it gets nasty and gritty, and the stage has been nasty and gritty. Coming towards the front, it's Ineos Grenadiers with 8.7k to go. Nathan van Hooijdonk currently leading, but we can see the trio of Luke Rowe, Adam Yates, and Daniel Martinez coming towards the front. Primož Roglič now just cruising at the back of the group with Simon Yates. As well, we can see Brian Coquard towards the back. I'm surprised that he's not towards the front of the group. Ben O'Connor as well, floating towards the back of the pack. Luka Mezgec as well for Bike Exchange. Could he be a dark horse for today? He has done well on messy sprints. Second on the sprint into Lyon at the 2020 Tour de France. That was a messy day. Also, when we went into Champagnol, he rode very, very well behind Søren Kragh Andersen. Nevertheless, 8.1k to go, and the group behind are not far away as we have a 12-kilometer wind brushing the riders from a south-easterly direction. There we go, cardinal directions.
Well, I can give you one little hint here. At the finish line, I can just see some of the flags, and we've got a tailwind coming into the finish. Of course, it's what would I say? It's a very long seat that they have to the finish, about 300 meters. So, it's going to be a fast sprint, I can tell you that.
Well, looming on the peloton is this group behind with a bunch of Movistar riders within it, as well. A couple of the riders from EF Education First. They have some of their riders here. I just saw Julius Vondenberg. He's in this group, in the group titled Poursuivant, as they try to chase down the front group. I think Guillaume Martin as well, the philosopher, author, professional cyclist, is up here. Movistar as well, they've lost most of their riders. They will be going for Iban Garcia Cortina for the victory, and Matteo Jorgensen for GC, finishing in top 10 at last year's race.
Well, yeah, Movistar, they haven't got their big hitter, Enric Mas. No longer Miguel Angel Lopez, of course, he's back at Astana. But, yeah, it looks like we're getting a bit of movement on the front. Is it EF Education here trying to move away?
Once again,
with Stefan Bissinger.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, he is not letting down his armour at all. Number 161, Stefan Bissinger of Switzerland, off the front for EF Easy Post. So, the Swiss rider out on his own. He wants some extra time before the time trial to try to get that yellow jersey once again. He is fresh from the UAE Tour, where he won the time trial over there in the Middle East. He's going to try and win a second Paris-Niza stage after winning the stage. Oh, your stream is certainly ahead of mine. Can't quite see the crash now. Can you identify any riders down?
It's a Jumbo-Visma rider. Is it Roglic? No, it can't be Roglic because he's wearing the green jersey. But we've got, and it can't be Wout van Aert because he's wearing the Belgian.
Is it Nathan van Hooijdonk?
I'm not quite sure who it is, but it looks like it is. It might be Van Hooijdonk. That is probably who I'm going to guess it is.
No, this is from the second group because it's a Movistar rider. One of the riders from Jumbo-Visma. Is it? Ooh. Yep, trying to identify who that would be. It looks like the Clairhanger. It looks like it could be Kruijswijk. Oh, Matteo Jorgensen. Oh no, Matteo Jorgensen, the American, is down. Commentators curse. We were just saying that he was bridging up. Top 10 at last year's race. And it is Stefan Kruijswijk who I believe comes down in that second group. It looks like his broad shoulders. But that crash brings down Matteo Jorgensen, or Janssen, from the United States.
Yeah, I tried to see if he had a connection with Denmark, but I don't think so. He must have. Janssen is such a thing, must be that. But that is going to be a huge blow for Jumbo-Visma if that's Stefan Kruijswijk. He is a fantastic rider in the mountains, and of course also plagued by bad luck himself in the past. Think back to the Giro d'Italia where he was wearing that jersey and then crashed, unfortunately. Yep,
he was also ruled out last season because of a crash there. So it hasn't been a good couple of years for Kruijswijk. I think since the COVID restart, he hasn't really been firing on all four cylinders. Something has gone wrong each step of the way. He went into the Giro in 2020 as the team leader, but they had to pull out due to COVID fears. 2021 crashing out as well. Hasn't quite gone to plan for the man that the Dutch press called the coat hanger due to his broad old shoulders. 4.6 to go. Stefan Bissegger back in the peloton. And it's a small select group trying to come back here. A rider from Israel, Premier Tech. Rider from Team DSM as well. We haven't seen much of Case Paul. He must be moving towards the front. He's a sprinter for DSM for today's stage. Guillaume Martin, though, going to lose 20 or 30 seconds on the stage.
Am I wrong in remembering that he actually won of Paris-Niza, so it would actually be a repeat if you won it today?
He did. He won it in a sprint. Yeah, it was Case Paul. Then it was Michael Matthews who went into the overall lead. But the second group on the road here, completely splintered. But I believe they are going to bridge up to the peloton group, the front group with, well, the Maillot Jaune group, which includes Primož Roglič, Fabio Jakobsen, and Wout van Aert. Is it going to be Wout? Is it going to be Jakobsen? Well, we'll find out. Number 206 as well in this group. Number 206 for Alpecin Fenix. That would be Cristian Sparagli of Italy. What can he do today? He's probably the fastest man here for Alpecin Fenix. But they have Sylvain Dillier. So you never know. Sylvain Dillier up in front, the Swiss rider, wearing the first aid kit of the Swiss champion. He's up there to try to do something for Alpecin Fenix today. But Stefan Bissegger, I do apologize. Bissegger's still in his own. Bissegger's still out on his own for EF Education Easy Post, with the peloton trying to chase him down. How much of a gap does he have? Well, roughly 5-6 seconds. We have not seen Quickstep, Alpha Vinyl really boss the lead out yet, but I'm sure it's still to come. We can just see the emerging face there of Yves Lampaert trying to come through to the front, the former Belgian champion, to bring order to this lead-out train to try to get the victory for Fabio Jakobsen. As well, Jasper Stuyve trying to bring Mads Pedersen up towards the front there for Denmark, as Juan Sebastian Molano finds the wheel of Fabio Jakobsen.
Yeah, it's getting very, very interesting now, but it's a very good move just to put some pressure on it. Why not? They haven't got a sprinter per se in EF Education. You have to throw everything at this. Like we saw yesterday, you might be able to get a gap between some of the other teams.
Yeah, but Bissegger still holding out here. 2.6 kilometers to go. And there appears to be a tailwind on the ground in Orléans, but behind, well, it looks like Quickstep Alpha trying to bring him back. He has roughly 4 seconds of an advantage on what has been one of the fastest stages of Paris in the race's history, as Yves Lampaert leads the group leads the chasing group to bring back Stefan Bissegger of EF Education Easy Post. Behind him, well, it's Zdeněk Štýbar, Florian Sénéchal, and their sprinter Fabio Jakobsen. On Jakobsen's wheel, it's Christophe Laporte and Wout van Aert. Behind him,
they can see the cathedral now of Orléans, so they are very, very close now. How many kilometers have you got left on your screen, Ewan?
1.8 kilometers to go for me, 1.67 now. Ooh. A rider there from Trek Segafredo with a problem. That's their number 4. That is Alex Kirsch off the back there, the Luxembourgish rider. As we just amp up for the sprint finale of the stage, that's the beautiful cathedral of Orléans. As we cross the Loire Valley, the river here, known for its winemaking properties. This river stretches all the way down to the southeast of France, one of the longest rivers in the country, but with 1.4 kilometers to go. It looks like we have a commanding sprint lead out being headed up by Yves Lampaert now for Quickstep Alpha Vinyl as they try to go for victory with Fabio Jakobsen. Behind Jakobsen, it is Laporte and Wout van Aert. We can see Case Paul trying to come towards the front. Even Sam Bennett with Ryan Mullen in front of him. We haven't spoken much about Sam Bennett, but with 1 kilometer to go now, we're under the Flamme Rouge. Well, 3 hours and 22 minutes of a stage. This has been one of the fastest stages in the history of Paris-Nice. Now it looks like Zdeněk Štýbar is trying to bring them in on the wheel of Štýbar. It is Florian Sénéchal, the man from the north of France, to usher in Fabio Jakobsen potentially to a stage victory. In the wheel of Jakobsen is Laporte and Wout van Aert, and with roughly 500 to go, this looks like a fantastic lead-off for Quickstep Alpha Vinyl. doing what they can do best. Scott, we're getting closer and closer to where you are on the course right now. Quickstep Alpha Vinyl very much in control of this stage. Miles Paulsen as well, trying to get on level with Milano in this wheel. Mess gets his ball towards the front. It's now down to Seneschal. It's Seneschal and Wout van Aert against Laporte. Oh, Jakobsen there just losing the wheel. Van Aert in a perfect position now, being led out by Christophe Laporte. 150 meters to go. And it looks like Wout van Aert here is up against Fabio Jakobsen for the stage victory. It's Fabio Jakobsen who takes it. Jakobsen is certainly the fastest man in the world right now. And the former Dutch champion wins the stage. Scott, any news on the ground from that finale?
Oh my God, I couldn't see them, but I could hear them coming because of the massive crowds. But yeah, absolutely emphatic victory. Also just gave a hint of help on the stream, but the stragglers are coming. But what a stage there, what a victory. And Fabio Jakobsen, another win for his tally there.
Yep, well, we did say it was going to come to a showdown between those two, and Jakobsen is the fastest man in the world. We can say that now. Wout van Aert almost had a breakthrough. Laporte did a brilliant lead out, but Wout van Aert just didn't have the legs to defeat Fabio Jakobsen. And Quickstep Alpha Vinyl get what they came here for, a stage win with Fabio Jakobsen. So, just to remind you that a stage win for Fabio Jakobsen, second place for Wout van Aert, and a third place for Luca Mesquet. Brilliant ride from Luca Mesquet there to take third. And as we did say, second place for Wout van Aert. What does that mean for GC? Well, that means we have some GC arithmetic to perform. He'll be tied. I believe he will actually go into the race lead. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got bad news for any Portuguese fans. We just saw João Almeida straggling behind the leaders, maybe a minute.
Yep, João loses 2 minutes on the stage. João Almeida is 2 minutes out of the equation. They only had Milano in that front group. So Matteo Jorgensen loses 1 minute and 30 seconds. João Almeida loses 2 minutes for UAE Team Emirates. It's a shame for him, but victory for Fabio Jakobsen, the man from Quickstep Alpha Vinyl. Can anybody defeat him?
Yeah, as you can see, true. On the screens right now, you can see we're going to have a lot of riders coming up after the headwind that we saw, of course. So, yeah. Interesting to see what the damages you see favorites. Like you said, João Almeida already losing out, and of course some of the other riders as well. Like Schachmann is no longer a contender, if I'm honest.
We're just seeing the lovely cathedral in Orléans on the live images provided by ASO. But Scott, you're probably awaiting the arrival of Breton's sweetheart, David Gaudu, who I don't believe has crossed the line yet.
Yeah, we might as well see who's actually coming up the road, but it's completely empty. Nobody's coming, so the gap is huge. Absolutely nobody. And up there you can see the winners. No riders to speak of since João Almeida, and that must have been a few minutes ago now. So damage has definitely been done here, and we'll see who of the big guys have lost out big time.
Well, I bring you news. It's actually Laporte in third place. They have updated the results there from a photo finish. So, it's Fabio Jakobsen who wins the stage. Wout van Aert in second place. Third place to Christophe Laporte of France. Fourth to Luca Mesquet.
It was nice to see the crowd getting worked up for Groenewegen.
Yep, Groenewegen came down in that crash earlier on, so there's confirmation there that it was the Leclerc.
But yeah, job done, Fabio Jakobsen. You're going to quick step Alpha Vinyl. Let's just get that right. Yeah, job done really. What more are they expecting in this Paris-Niza really? Remco Evenepoel, of course, in Tirreno Adriatico, but Yeah, do you think this is job done, or are they wanting more out of it?
They'll want to win more sprints. It's like a drug. Once you start winning, you don't want to stop. And
Most win as well.
exactly. That lead out was perfect. Yves Lampaert ahead of Stibar, Sénéchal, and Jakobsen. Just think if Michael Merkel was there or Asgreen, what they could potentially do in the Tour de France with Jakobsen. It's going to be lethal. No one's going to come close. Nevertheless, the yellow jersey remains on the shoulders of Christophe Laporte after the ruling of that photo finish. He's now 5 seconds ahead of Wout van Aert in the GC, Roglic in third at 11 seconds, Pierre Latour in fourth at 36, whilst Zdeněk Štýbar is in fifth at 38 seconds in the general classification. The stateless Alexander Vlasov is the best ranked general classification rider apart from Roglic at 10th place in GC, 39 seconds behind Christophe Laporte.
Yeah, I got distracted by someone throwing a bottle. I was like, that's going to hit someone. But, yeah, still not the whole group yet, though.
Well, we await. We will stay tuned on the Cycling Day Next show. In the meantime, go over and check out the Twitter and Instagram pages. It's at the Cycling Day, all one word, all lowercase. There'll be some content from today's stage up on there. Nevertheless, it is Fabio Jakobsen's day to celebrate. Former Dutch champion has got a stage win at Paris-Niza, his first World Tour stage win at a stage race apart from La Volta a España since that stage one of the 2020 Tour of Poland, which he was granted the victory of then.
Yeah, and of course, we also hit our first mini landmark on the channel, hitting 500 subscribers. So thanks every single one who's done that. We make our way towards 1,000, which we're trying to gun for. Let's see if we can do that. So yeah, thanks every single one of you who have subscribed as well, watching today. But yeah, we're still waiting the remainder of the pack. And yeah, don't worry, I'll try and go over and see if we can sneak an interview or two. But a lot more alert about certain health issues, shall we say. But yeah, Orléans, beautiful city. Definitely visit.
Well, we await for the 14th of March for things to change here. Nevertheless, in the general classification, it is still Laporte ahead of Wout van Aert, Roglic, Latour, Štýbar, Payson, Stuyven, Sénéchal, Coquard, and Vlasov. The green jersey will be worn by Wout van Aert on behalf of Laporte tomorrow. The King of the Mountains jersey will be worn by Matt Holmes of the United Kingdom tomorrow. He holds that for the second day in a row. The youth classification will go to Stan de Wolf. A surprise there from Belgium. The young rider for Age Desert Citroën. He is tied on time with...
Here we go. More riders. More riders. I saw Ethan Hayton there. Ethan Hayton, Matteo Trentin. That is a surprise. Jasper Philipsen. So riders that we thought could potentially make a difference today, out the back. Maybe they just sat up after they missed the split. That's a big surprise if you're a UAE fan.
Exactly, I believe we're waiting another rider here. Rider from Astana Premier Tech. Or Astana Kazakhstan with a Q. Yeah, that's the number 7.
Oh, David Gaudu. David Gaudu there.
Ooh. Well, we all know what David Gaudu can do.
Yeah, big surprise there.
Yeah.
Apparently he's not riding the flatlands of Orléans.
Yep.
So that's a big surprise.
Blown away, the Breton Prince. Well, apologies